So let's get started with our top story. The film Empuraan's string of controversies continues this time with the ED's investigation into a slew of cases becoming the biggest talking point. Central to that is Gokulam Gopalan, one of the producers of Empuraan, who's been grilled today by the Enforcement Directorate. There's a whole lot of outrage over this, with many saying Empuraan is being published for the portrayal of the 2002 Gujarat riots case. Is that really what's happening? Is the ED on a targeted drive? Well, not really, because you look at the particular case involved here, it has nothing to do with the fact that this man, Gokulam Gopalan, is actually the producer of Empuraan. ED searches pertain to a FEMA case involving Gopalan and his company. He owns the Sri Gopalan Chit Fund and Finance Company. So the case relates essentially to violations of various FEMA provisions to the tune reportedly of 1,000 crore rupees. So with NRIs, other unauthorized transactions, all of that currently is being looked into. So it has nothing to do with him being producer, but rather to do with this chit fund company. So the ED is also verifying cheating and forgery cases registered against Gopalan's chit fund firm under the PMLA money laundering case. That's a separate case as well. But it's a chit fund scam essentially that's being looked into. As a result of the raids 3 days ago, here's what's emerged. The Enforcement Directorate has seized 1.5 crores in cash during searches at multiple offices of the Gokul Chit Fund in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This cash pile, which you see has been seized by the ED, and in their trademark style they've arranged it to say ED. This cash was found in the Chit Fund company's Chennai office. And that's why today, the owner of the company, Gokulam Gopalan, has been quizzed as well by the Enforcement Directorate. So say what you will about the motive. There is clearly questions here about irregularities, about misappropriation that the ED is looking into. This cash was found at one of Gokulam Gopalan's residences and offices in Chennai. But here's why, and we can't completely negate the other angle and narrative as well, about whether Gokulam Gopalan is being targeted because he's a producer of the Empuraan film. The timing of these raids and crackdown. Mind you, right after the release of Empuraan, actor Prithviraj, who's also the director of the film, received a notice from the Income Tax Department. Prithviraj got this notice for a case that dates back a few years ago. Checks that were conducted in December 2022 for the remuneration that he received for some of the movies that he did during that time. So then there are obviously questions that will come up about the timing of these raids. None of them linked to Empuraan, but the timing of the crackdown on the producer and the actor-director. Have the Empuraan makers been targeted by the agencies? Is all of this stuff happening in the last few days timed to the controversy that played out due to Empuraan? The notices, raids of previous cases that were investigated years ago, is it now being used to target the makers again? So the most moot question that comes up here, is this vendetta by agencies, or is this them doing their duty and a routine crackdown that's being over-analyzed? Well, both sides that we've put out for you. Let me bring in Shibimol for more details. She's joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram with the latest updates. Shibi, has in fact the interrogation of Gokulam Gopalan come to an end? There are two cases right now. The ED investigating the chit fund scam for which there were raids across, and then you have Prithviraj also. So let's talk first about the producer of Empuraan, about Gopalan.
Akshita, we're understanding that the questioning is almost over. It was going on at the ED office in Kochi. We know that, his offices in Chennai, the Chit Fund's offices in Chennai, as well as one of his office in Kozhikode was, the ED had raided both these places, and they had seized a certain amount also from these places. The ED's explanation was that this was under the FEMA Act, as, he was collecting fund from people settled abroad as part of the Chit Funds, and that was collected in the form of money in hand. Cash in hand is what we're understanding, which is not allowed, which is against the, which is violating FEMA, is what the ED had explained. When it comes to the other producer, another producer of the film, Anthony Perumbaur's Ashirvad Cinemas, had also received a notice, is what we're understanding. When it comes to the IT notice issued to actor-director Prithviraj, the Income Tax Department has already explained that, this is in a broader investigation that's going going on. It's in connection with the 2022 raids that was conducted in 2022 around December. There was raids conducted by the income tax at around 3-4 prominent people's residences. One includes actor Prithviraj, Anthony Perumbaur, Liston Stephen. These are some of the prominent producer figures in the industry. So this is an expansion of that, is what we are being told. But the timing, of course, is being questioned. The case is that around 3 films that he did and that he acted as well as produced in 2022, like Gold, Kadua and Janaganamana. These 3 films for which he has not received money as an actor, but he did, collect an amount as a producer on the size, the details of the income collected was shown as a producer. There have been some irregularities and the income tax notice was issued to give an explanation on it, is what we're understanding. The timing, of course, right now is being questioned. But again, the income tax officials have explained that this is as part of the year end. The notice was issued on March 29th, just before the financial year comes to an end, and within one month he has to give an explanation.
So the IT department has clarified, saying that this is routine, that at the end of the financial year is when we issue this kind of a notice. Let's talk about the ED investigation. We have Munish Pandey also with us. Munish, there's a big question mark really about the investigation into the chit fund scam. The fact that Gopalan is also the producer of Empuraan. Has the ED responded to all of the questions about the timing of this crackdown?
Well, Akshita, the ED is claiming that the investigation by them is based on the evidence. And in this case, what evidence they have found is that more than 371 crore was collected in cash and more than 220 crore rupees was collected in check form. And ED has found that this money was collected by them in violation of FEMA Act, and that is why this action is being taken by the Enforcement Directorate. Under FEMA, the Enforcement Directorate cannot arrest a person, but they can conduct searches and they can make attachments and seizure as far as ED action is concerned. But as far as Income Tax Department is concerned, Akshita, remember in 2017 also there was a violation of almost 1,000 crore rupees, and that is when the Income Tax Department started sending notices. So this is not something new which the Income Tax Department or the Enforcement Directorate is concerned. Timing is something which is questioned by several individuals, even the political figures at this point of time. But as far as the ED is concerned, to answer your question, ED is claiming that this is based on the evidence which they have collected, and during the recent seizures they collected several incriminating documents also, and during the questioning today he was confronted with those documentary evidences, along with he was also asked about the 1.5 crore rupees of cash which was found at his residence.
Okay, so we'll see really what emerges. Munish, just a quick update. Has the questioning of Gopalan come to an end?
It is still going on, Akshita. What we have been going to understand is that, in some time the questioning will be over. But at this point of time, as we speak, he is still being questioned by the ED officials.
Okay, all right, Munish. Thanks for that update. Thanks to Shibimol also for joining us with the latest updates. We'll leave it to our viewers' discretion to see whether this is, in fact, timed to the entire Empuraan controversy, or if this is a routine crackdown in ongoing cases against Prithviraj and against Gopalan. But it's not the first time we've seen celebrities under the IT department radar, especially if you talk about what's happening with Prithviraj. 2022 issue that even now has come up, and as the IT department has clarified already, it's an issue that's come up now because of the fact that it's the end of the financial year. In 2011, you had Priyanka Chopra, Katrina Kaif being raided over suspected tax evasion. This was back in 2011. This is after earnings that they received from their film. In 2018, Vijay Sethupathi, popular Tamil actor, his house was also subjected to a raid by IT officials. They claimed that this was completely routine. These were routine checks that were conducted. In 2020, superstar Vijay was grilled for potential tax evasion after his film Bigil was a huge rating success. This became a massive controversy nationwide as well, as Vijay claimed and hinted that there was a political conspiracy angle. In 2021, 28 locations linked to Anurag Kashyap's Phantom Films was also raided. And the same year, you also had Taapsee Pannu, another popular actor in Bollywood. She was raided by the IT department, or properties linked to the actor were raided. 2021, you had assets associated linked to Sonu Sood that was surveyed over tax evasion probe. So actors, right after a successful film particularly, do face these kind of checks for tax evasion, for also routine checks that the IT department does conduct.